gentlemen, Alpha Nation, welcome back. What's up and what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Money Thursday. Traders inside of chat, you guys know what time it is. It's time to hit me with a big ol' good morning, everybody. Let's see the good mornings. Go ahead and drop it. Let's get you guys motivated, fired up, hyped up, ready to go for an amazing trading session. And then while y'all are doing that with the big old good mornings right now, what's up, everybody over on YouTube? How we doing this morning? Happy Money Thursday. Appreciate you guys tuning into the stream. And we're going to sit here and get you prepared for the day. Give you guys my personal plan so you guys can learn a little bit and you can earn a little bit. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to break it down, give you guys our personal game plans for today so you guys can make it happen. All right, Santana Trades, what's up? Brian, Jack, Skylar, what's good, everybody over on YouTube? And then everybody inside of chat, beautiful people today. Josie, what's up? Chris, Catherine, Greed is good. How we doing? Joey, hey, real quick, guys, for those of you that understand that you have to make sure you're live, right? You got that little live button on the live stream. Can someone just make that a thing right around 9 o'clock? Just say, everybody's out of chat. Make sure your live stream is set to live. Because I tell you what, man, it'll be like 9:10. Then everybody starts hitting me with the good mornings. I'm like, yo, you're like 10 minutes behind. So if someone could do that, that'd be huge. Like, make sure you're set to live on the live stream, because here's the deal. We got like 80 people watching the stream, but like 5 of you said good morning. And I'm a little confused right now on what you're doing. It takes 5 seconds to type in GOOOOOOOOOOOOOD morning. Enter. Y'all are all set. All right, guys, appreciate you. Let's dive into it. Let's make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that not hit me with a good morning, I know who you are. And I'm just shaking my head right now at you. I'm a little disappointed. I expected more from you, but it's okay. I love you anyway. All right, let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's talk about what we got going on in today's market. Marco, welcome to the team, boss. Marco's first day here. Let's go ahead and give Marco a big, warm welcome to the Alpha Day Trading community. Marco, what's up, my man? We're happy to work with you. Cannot wait to see you crush it in the market. Lean on this community. Use us and abuse us. You will get exactly what you need, boss. Let's make it happen. Let's have an amazing first day here inside of chat. Let's get it. All right, so penny stocks. Not all that excited, right? It's like, oh, we got to talk about penny stocks today? Damn it. Yeah, man, there's just not a lot really happening lately with pennies. I mean, I'm not actually, I'm gonna lie, because yesterday was a killer day with CDIO, right? CDIO was nuts yesterday, and this is what we talked about yesterday in pre-market. I was like, we have a trend. We're starting to see this trend unfold with some pennies, where you have a stock that has some pretty good news, right? Rips in pre-market after the press release, intraday does nothing, holds support, and then rips on day 2. And I'm like, guys, that's probably what we're going to see with CDIO. If you guys are like, I wasn't here in yesterday's stream, bullshit, go watch yesterday's stream. We talked about it. Like, CDIO, day 1, rips on phenomenal heart disease news. Does nothing intraday, holds support day 2, and then freaking goes bananas. Bananas! So I'm lying. Like, penny stocks have been hot, but it's not an abundance of penny stocks. It's not like we have 3 stocks really ripping, really consistent, really moving. It's kind of hit or miss. That could be my bias taking over right now. But yeah, CDIO was a killer yesterday. So I would still want to watch CDIO today, guys. But I didn't really see anything else that kind of met this criteria. Like, does anybody have a stock on their watch list that had a good press release and it ripped in pre-market and it did nothing yesterday, right? What was a stock yesterday that had a good press release, okay, that ripped in pre-market, that did nothing? Does anybody have that stock on their watch list? Again, a stock that had a good press release and it ripped yesterday in pre-market and it set flat yesterday during the day, and it may not be doing anything here in pre-market, right? That could be the next CDIO. That could be the next LHDX. I went through like 10 to 15 stocks today. I didn't find that one stock. If you guys know it, if you guys have it on your watch list, hey, let's dissect it, guys. Let's figure it out, right? But I didn't really see anything. So anyway, let's get to it. MTC, here's the deal. MTC, at this point in time, if it holds above that red line, what's the red line? That's the 200-day moving average. So if we hold above 186, the 200 SMA, and at any point in time get a break of this downtrend, that's going to confirm an entry for you guys because it's coming down to support, it's holding, and then breaking the downtrend, going from the bearish side of the downtrend, then it would be going to the bullish side, and that's where buyers would really start moving on in. And if that were to take place, you could see MTC rip back up towards around 290. At this point in time, it's like you got to just sit back on it, put it on the watch list, and at any point in time, that develops and that move happens, have a plan in place ahead of time and get in it, all right? But right now, there's not a lot to really be looking at, right? It may not do anything at all. So right now, you just got to have to mark up those levels, get as prepared as possible, have your plans in place just in case. Man, I've been rhyming a lot today. Have your plans in place just in case. I like it. I'm feeling great about it. So 186 support, that's the 200-day moving average. If it cracks below that support level, it's coming back down to yesterday's close of 158. Like I said, at any point in time it breaks that downtrend, that's where buyers would really start to step back in. So right now there's no trade. There's no reason to touch it. Either A, you're going to buy it off support, the 200-day moving average, and put stops below support, or you're going to wait for the break of the downtrend to make entries, and if it falls back below the downtrend, you get out for a stop. That's all you can do on this trade if it sets up, if it develops. Right now, you're hands off. There's nothing here, all right? CDIO. CDIO was the massive mover yesterday that we said, hey, if this stock holds that $3 support level and eventually breaks over 4, we have room to 525. And then over 525, the sky is the limit. And we could see this squeeze all the way to 875 and then 10. We hit 873, right? 2 pennies away from 875 last night in post-market. Absolutely amazing. It was a hot stock, and we could absolutely see a second day to the upside, all right? But here's the deal. You need to compare some of the what you could expect today with CDIO and compare it to what LHDX did. Why is that? Well, the whole reason we were aware of CDIO yesterday and had really, really good odds and a good game plan that, hey, this stock could rip today was really based on LHDX and what this stock did, right? Because, again, we had day one ripped in pre-market, right? Intraday did nothing, and then it ripped on day 2. What did the stock do on day 3? Right? Well, the stock opened and it ripped on day 3 yesterday, right? It had some great action, but it eventually gave quite a bit back. Pretty much gave everything back. So, you could see some of the similarities, right? The whole reason we were watching CDIO is because there were similarities comparing it to LHDX. So I'm not saying we're going to pop on up and fade today, but the whole point of this trade yesterday was, hey, we have a trend developing. We're seeing a trend unfold with LHDX, a few stocks last week, and CDIO is meeting the same criteria. So we may indeed see that similarity play out into day 3 where we get some action at the start of the day, but then it tops on out and starts to give a lot back. So with that being said, I think we could see some potential back up to those post-market highs of around 875. I do think 875 is a key area that we could see CDIO rip up to today, okay? And if it does, right, defy the odds and still rip on up and it breaks that 875 level, your next target here would be $10 here on CDIO. Right now, you have some bottom support down towards around 647, right? You're just kind of really trying to gauge this support level through a lot of this chop here. But what you can see is you had multiple touches right around 646, right? You had some resistance yesterday, turned into resistance again, and then it turned into all of this support here from pre-market. So I would say some decent support right now at this point in time on CDIO is going to be down towards around $6.46. Okay, we'd really like to see it hold above that level of support. Eventually, right, get a break of this downtrend because that's where volumes really gonna start moving back in and buyers stepping up to the plate. And at any point in time, we get a break of that downtrend, that's going to confirm your entries to take this long up to that post-market high of 873. we ever break that 873 to 875 level, that really, really strong psychological level of resistance, we know we could see that next leg up to 10 bucks. Okay, so CDIO is going to be number 2 right now at this point in time. But just like MTC, you're hands off, right? It may not do anything today whatsoever. There's no reason to be getting involved right now at this point in time. Look at MTC. Why would you want to touch it? Look at CDIO. Why would you really want to touch it? Support's back down around 646, and you're sitting right at resistance. You got to sit back and wait for the development, for the trade to really present itself. All you can do right now is have a plan in place. If this happens, I will react, make this decision, and these are the amount of shares I'm going to take. This would be my ideal stop loss. These are my targets, right? Already have a plan established in place just in case it starts to move when the market opens, and you don't have to like hesitate. You're not behind the curve. You're already on top of it. All you have to do is react when that opportunity presents itself. All right, so that's going to be CDIO, and I do think there could be another day of movement to the upside, at least back up towards around that 873 to 875 level before it starts to really fade and fall, if it does fade and fall. And then lastly, maybe ONCS, guys. All right, so ONCS, it's not really similar, right? Because it was like, look at LHDX, look at CDIO, look at those two stocks that we've talked a lot about, yesterday and today, right? There was a press release, it moves in pre-market, day 1 does nothing, but then it breaks structure on day 2 intraday. Well, this is already starting to break structure here in pre-market, right? CDIO broke that resistance level here intraday on day 2, right? LHDX broke that resistance level here intraday on day 2, right? If you look at ONCS, it's very close as far as similarities, but it's already breaking structure here early in pre-market, but it could still be a hot stock. Why is that? Well, we had that move on up in pre-market based on a press release, did nothing day 1, and now it's looking to possibly make its move here on day 2. But it's just a little different because it's already breaking that resistance level and trying to get a move to the upside. But right now, I think it's worth watching to see if we do indeed start to get that next leg up. So ideally, we want to see this thing trading above like 264. That was yesterday's high of day. That was the high of day from January 17th. And look at all of that support here. You see how many times we came down and bounced at 264, 264, 264. Then it turns into 264 resistance, 264 resistance. Look at yesterday's high of day, 264 resistance. So I want to see the stock holding above that 264 level as support now. And if we can see that take place, we have room to 337 here on ONCS. And if we ever start to really break that 337 level, we would have room to 4. We would have room to $5, right? That's a psychological level of resistance, 5. But your main target would be $6.52. So if we see ONCS holding yesterday's high a day, getting that day 2 move to the upside, like LHDX did, massive mover, like CDIO did, massive mover, we could see ONCS take on off. This stock has room all the way up to $6.52. ONCS is a very, very low float stock. It's 1.6 million in float. We know the stock could rip and run. It's trading 7 times the amount of volume this morning than it does on average. Okay, and right now it's up 30%. This stock has a lot of potential. This stock could get that day 2 massive move to the upside. But what you have to really take away from this is there are some similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well. Okay, we may not get that big time break and big time rip and run like CDIO. I mean, CDIO was an exact replica of LHDX. Okay, there was literally no differences whatsoever. So many similarities. There's quite a few differences here with ONCS when comparing to those other two stocks that you have to be mindful of and say, hey, it may not get that day 2 rip and run, but keep it on watch. There is some potential here, guys. Those are going to be the top 3 pennies for today. And again, the reason they're the top 3 penny stocks, what we're looking at, what we want to see, why they're on the watch list compared to the other thousands of stocks in the market and why they have the best potential and why your focus should be on them today, right? Again, ONCS, CDIO, and then possibly MTC, as long as it stays above that 200-day moving average. Now let's go really talk about the stocks that, I like. The ones that Josh wants to trade. The ones that we're trading on the small options account challenge. The stocks that have been absolutely paying the bills for the past few months. All right, we're going to be looking at the SPY, baby. We're going to be looking at Apple. We're going to be looking at Tesla. All right, so the SPY right now got a couple key levels that you guys need to keep on high watch. Number one, downtrend from yesterday. Look at your downtrend. Look at your downtrend. Look at your downtrend. We come up here and validate that downtrend again post-market last night before that massive drop. If we ever come back into that downtrend, you best believe I'm going to take put contracts because we haven't broke it. We didn't break it. We didn't break it. We've hit it, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We come back into this downtrend, I will be looking to take put contracts. But here's the deal. We may not get back into the trend line. Why is that? You see that red line? That red line is the 200-day moving average. Okay, the 200-day moving average is a very, very popular indicator that a lot of traders, retail, and institution and a lot of analysts, they use the 200 SMA, the key level of support and resistance. That red line is going to be strong resistance because we're below that level. So we may have a hard time getting back into this downtrend to play those puts. Not only that, is we have yesterday's low of day, which is going to be a strong level of resistance as well. We may not get that full move all the way into that downtrend. So if we don't see it hit the downtrend, and we're not taking puts here, but we see a lot of resistance at yesterday's low of day and the 200 SMA, right? Really confirming this is an area we want to be getting involved with puts based on price action. I'm going to be jumping into this trade right out of the gate, guys. How many trades lately have we had that were 100% winners where we get a gap down, pushes up into resistance, and then it flushes, right? Think about last Tuesday. Last Tuesday was a killer trade. Gap down, push into the prior day low as resistance, flush. Friday, what do we have? Gap down, into the prior day low, into the 50 SMA as resistance, flush. Was that Friday? Was it? Yeah, that was Friday. And those were 100% winners. What did we have yesterday? Gap down, into the prior day low as resistance, and we flushed. What are we doing right now? We're gapping down again, below some key support. We're below yesterday's low of day, and we're below the 200 SMA, gapping down. All right, we're going to open lower. I mean, anything could happen in the next 10 minutes, but it's safe to say we're going to open lower. What do we want to see? The gap down, the open lower, push into these levels of resistance. Then based on price action, right? Price action suggests, hey man, sellers are here. It's going to flush. Let's get in. Let's get that next 100% runner, right? We had it on Tuesday last week. Same setup, same strategy. We had it on Friday. We had it yesterday. Same setup, same strategy. I want you guys really dialed in as the market's dropping, gapping down day over day. We can continue to play this until we don't see that consistency and that development anymore. So again, I know it was very, very long-winded analysis, but I want you guys to be really, really dialed in. Really, really dialed in, guys, on why we want to be looking to get involved to the short side on the SPY right out of the gate. And you can see Tuesday, you can see Friday, and you can see yesterday as prime examples on how good this strategy is. And we've taken these trades and how we've been able to make 80, 90, 100% in literally 30 minutes. Not saying that's going to happen today, but it's very possible. Build your plans. Understand where you're getting in, where you're stopping out, where targets would be. Position yourself correctly, and let's freaking crush it. Day 2 of March, baby. All right, so again, resistance, 200-day moving average, right around 393.14. Okay? And then yesterday's low of day is going to be 393.39. But if we push through those two levels, there's still one key level of resistance. And what's that one key level of resistance? It's going to be that downtrend that we hit again 1, 2, 3, 4 times before that massive flush here, really validating that's a key trend line. that would be the last line in the sand that if we stay below it, I'll take put contracts. At any point in time, we break the downtrend, we're above the 200-day moving average, and we're above yesterday's low, I flip my bias and my thesis to long, right? We start saying, okay, well, we're not going to flush today. The market wants to hold on up. The market wants to bounce. We're going from the bearish side to the bullish side. Let's look for a long opportunity, and we will adjust like chameleons on the spot and adapt. But right now, it's just below so much resistance that right now it's like 80% probability that we come into resistance, we get rejected, and we drop on off. So I'm looking for those shorts right out of the gate, looking for those put contracts right out of the gate. All right. So, third touch of the uptrend on the daily. We don't have a daily uptrend right here. We already cracked that trend line, Steve. You see that trend line that we were looking at from back in early October through these December lows and early January? We've actually already cracked that trend line and validated the crack, right? We fell below it Friday, tried to regain it here on Monday, but said, nope, we're going to come back below it on Tuesday. Tested it as resistance and flush. This is a crack retest. The market does look like it wants to move lower from a daily perspective. We zoom in on our lower time frames. Definitely looks like we're bearish. I mean, across the board, we look pretty bearish right now at this point in time. But anything could happen, right? Anything could happen. But higher time frame all the way down, bearish across the board. That's why I want to be really looking to get involved to the short side right at the start of the day, guys. QQQ looked bearish as well, team, right? Take a look at the Qs. Qs had a beautiful trade in pre-market. This is why I wish you could trade options in pre-market. Look at QQQ coming into the downtrend and the 200-day moving average, right? Came into that 290 level to the penny. It was the downtrend resistance and the 200 SMA, and we flushed. What an amazing entry if you're trading, say, futures contracts right off that 290 level resistance. And we flushed. So look at where the Qs are opening up. The Qs are going to be opening below the 200 SMA, right? It's going to be opening below all this prior support and resistance. That 290 level is key. The 200 SMA is key. And we have this downtrend as resistance as well. So as long as we stay below the downtrend and the 200-day moving average right at 290, I say we dump, right? Look at the Qs, very bearish. I say we bounce on up, hit that downtrend, stay below the 200 SMA, and our next level to the downside would be, right, the 50 SMA. Now, there are a couple other levels that we could bounce off of first, right? Look at this level right here, 288.43. You see how we're trying to stay above that level right now, right? That's a pretty key level of support. It's a pretty decent level of support, and it's derived from the daily time frame. But look, it's all that traffic here in pre-market. That's a level that we really have to crack below before we get down to the 50 SMA. So again, QQQ, I want to see a bounce here at the start of the day, right? We're gapping down. I want to see us bounce into the downtrend and reject. But if we break that downtrend, okay, into yesterday's low of day and the 200 SMA, very similar analysis as we had on the SPY, right? We have the 200 SMA as resistance, yesterday's low of day as resistance between 290.12 and then 290.19. That is literally the highest you want to see QQQ go today. And if we get rejected, price action confirms the puts. We're going to take those puts back down to this 288.19 level. And then our next target is that blue line. That's our 50 SMA, right around 285.80 line. Looks fantastic. QQQ looking very bearish. The SPY, right, looking very bearish. And then look at Apple as well, looking pretty damn bearish, right? What I want to see today on Apple is pretty much the same analysis on the SPY and the Qs, right? Gapping down. I want to see it open and push. Where to? Yesterday's low of day and get rejected. Where does that also put us on Apple? Right into the downtrend. So as long as we're below this downtrend, we're bearish. As long as we stay below yesterday's low of day, we're bearish. And how many times have you seen, right, a stock gap down, right, gap down, and then bounce into the yesterday or the prior day low of day? Look at Apple, right, prior low of day, okay? What did we do? We gap down, We flushed, we bounced, we got rejected off that prior day level, and then we flushed, we dumped. We saw this 2 times last week. We see this play out a lot. It's a very simple yet highly effective strategy. And what's really, really nice about today is we have this downtrend to back up these trades as well. And this downtrend is very valid. It's a very valid level of resistance. We want to see it hold Apple down, as well as stay below 145 to play those puts, okay? And the same thing applies to QQQ, right? We may get a brief break of this downtrend on Qs, right? Because again, that red line is a key level of resistance. So even if QQQ breaks its downtrend, it's still valid to the short side. But ideally, staying below that downtrend would be fantastic because that would keep Apple below its downtrend. That would keep Apple below 145 and confirm, hey, let's jump into those puts. And then same thing with the SPY. That would keep the SPY below its downtrend as well. So that's my breakdown. That's my reasoning. That's my analysis for today, right? Across the board, top down, looking pretty bearish on the SPY. Again, QQQ, looking pretty bearish. Apple, looking pretty bearish. We got a great short opportunity today on Apple, QQQ, and the SPY, guys. But anything can happen, right? We know that. Anything could happen. The market could open and rip through all that resistance and go green today, right? Anything can happen at any point in time for any reason. So what do you need to do? Have a plan in place. Where do you want to get in? How many contracts are you taking? Where do you stop out? Have a plan. Just because we're 80% confident that the markets are going to hit our levels and drop doesn't mean we come in blind. And I explained this yesterday. Just because we're confident that we're going to get that bounce and grind out of the gate doesn't mean we come into the trade blind. We always come in with a solid, well-built plan. So build your solid plans, get prepared. Do not trade blind. But again, don't miss these amazing opportunities because, again, we have some amazing opportunities today, guys. All right? Sorry, I'm really like hiccupy and burpy today. So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That is that. Looking at the SPY to open, push into those prior levels of support. And I want to see the SPY stay below as resistance today to play those put contracts back down towards around these pre-market lows of 391.85, down towards around 390 psychological. And then our main level here, our main level today on the SPY would be down around 387.24. That would be our main target today, 387.24, if we just flush. Again, QQQ, right? Main level of support today. Main profit target would be the 50 SMA of 285.89, especially if we get that crack below 288.19. And then Apple target today would be down towards around 141.34. Again, assuming we get those put contracts, we validate the short trade, and we stay below 145 and the trend line, right? Get prepared, guys. I'm focused. I'm dialed in. I'm not missing these opportunities. I'm ready to lock in some big-time profits. We're going to be live here in 3, 2, 1, and ding-a-ling-ling, we are live. And number 1, we're watching the SPY. Number 2, we're going to be off to Apple off to the side. Apple off to the side. That's a main account trade for me, guys. And then watching the SPY here out of the gate. Again, I want to see it come into those lower levels, those prior day levels, right? The red line, 200-day moving average, and then yesterday's low of day as well. I'm going to scale in at these levels, right? I'm going to scale in on the small account at these levels, one contract at a time. We're going SPY, March 2nd. Let's go with like a 392 put contract. 392 put contract. Yeah, we'll go with 392 puts. And I'm going to scale in at these levels, right? I'm going to scale in one contract here at the red line, another contract here at the green line, right? I'm just going to start cherry picking some of this off these levels. Apple at 145, I'll probably be looking to get involved there as well, guys. Right now, I'm, maybe not as much commentary out of the gate, right? Not all over the place because I'm really dialed in and very focused here, team. Very dialed in and very, very focused because, again, we have some fantastic opportunity, and this is the day to make money. This is the day to really hit your weekly, possibly monthly goal in a single freaking trade because the market is in a sweet spot to make some serious cash, guys. We're here to lock in profits. We're here to make some money, right? So let's get to it. Let's make it happen here. So right now, guys, you know my plan. You know my reasoning. You know what I'm looking at and why. All right? I have my main account open because I like Apple. Maybe I take an SPX put. We got the small account here. And I want to make sure that we're on top of all of these opportunities, guys. I want to make sure we're on top of all of these opportunities at this point in time. Still no entries on the SPY yet. Watching Apple below 145. All right, watching Apple below 145 here. QQQ, you guys know the analysis, and then the SPY. So, again, you guys know my plan. Right around that red line, that's the 200-day moving average. Depending on price action, that could be a great area to be getting involved. Could push up towards around 393.39. That is yesterday's low of day. And keep in mind, we still have this downtrend. That's going to be a key level of resistance. And then again, looking for some entries off resistance, right? Or as close to that resistance level as possible. But especially if we start cracking this uptrend, right? Most definitely, if we crack that uptrend, that would be a great area. Be looking to get short here. Okay, do we have that trend line on cues? We don't. Here's Apple. Apple getting very close to its resistance level. That's the downtrend as well as yesterday's low of day of 145. Keeping that one on watch. See if we get a reason to get involved here. We're only about 4 minutes into the day. We're only 4 minutes into the day, so hey, we're not really missing a lot. We're just waiting, we're watching, we're observing, and we're waiting to get that killer opportunity, that killer trade to lock in some amazing profits here. So right now you can see my P&L, nothing yet. Just waiting for the best entries. All about waiting patiently for the trade to come to you. And that's what we're doing. Waiting the trade to come to us. And we may have a reason to start getting involved here right off the 200 SMA, guys. So let's see. We got the small account locked and loaded, ready to go. There's the red line. There's the 200 SMA. We're going to start a position here. Like I told you, I'm going to start positions at all three of those levels, right? Obviously, the downtrend's the best place, right? Gives you the best entry with the least amount of risk off the downtrend. But here's the deal as well. What if we don't hit the downtrend? What if we don't get up to yesterday's low of day? What if it taps the 200 and flushes? I want to have some skin in the game. I want to have a position on the table. That's it, right? That's it. May I have 10 contracts? Maybe not. I've actually missed a lot of those positions lately. A lot of that, I want 10 to 20 contracts. Haven't had them. I've had like 2 or 4. But look at the absolute beautiful entries. Beautiful entries on the small account, guys. Look at your percentage return right now. In at 84 cents. Right now, these contracts are worth 103. You can get out. You can start selling on your main account if that was a main account trade. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Right? In at 84 cents. They're currently worth 105. What is that from a percent? Oh, that was only one contract? That's whack. I honestly thought there was like 2 there. But anyway. You guys know the deal. Percentage-wise, well over 10%. These are like 20% return. So again, small account, you guys know why we trade the small account the way we trade it. It's to establish consistency and prove to yourself you've got what it takes to do this on a bigger account. Okay, one freaking contract. It's always one contract. It's one or two, man. But again, we're going to definitely start scaling up here next week on the small accounts. We're going to start going like 5 to 10 contracts minimum versus like 2 to 4. Really start scaling on up. So do we take some profits here? Right? Do we take some profits? Up 18 bucks on the small account, bouncing off that trend line. Let's see. We may go ahead and secure this. Yep, we're going to go ahead and lock it up. Quick little $19 on the small account, guys. Again, the principle here, right? Well over 20% return. Well over 20% return. Why did we sell it and take some profits? Why? Well, because we're bouncing off the trend line. So we got our 200 SMA entry. Nice flush. Let it bounce. Let it put in a lower high. Let's get back in. Nice little trade, guys, on the small account. One contract in at 80 cents, out at $1. We already got some profits inside of Profits Chat. Catherine, some SPY puts. She's coming in, making a quick $300 on the day. Good job. Way to nail the entry. Way to execute it. Woo! I want to see a little bit of a bounce. I want to see a bounce and then a lower high to get back in. But absolutely nailing the entries there off the 200 SMA. We nailed a beautiful 50-cent flush there. Good stuff. CDIO breaking the downtrend. Yeah, CDIO, guys, look at that. You see how we just went red to green and broke the downtrend? There was your entries. The entries were a break of that downtrend. There you go. Nice stuff. Red to green move and a break of the downtrend. Doesn't get any better than that. Congrats there. CDIO target's coming on up at 876. 876 is your target there on CDIO. Oh, crap. We're still live on YouTube. YouTubers, enjoy your day. Make it happen. Have some fun. Lock in some profits. You guys got some more free game, free analysis, some education. You're learning, you're earning. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hopefully, you guys are locking in those profits. And maybe we see you guys inside of the community at some point as well to continue taking that education to the next level, guys. Take care. Enjoy your day over on YouTube. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I took Apple scalp on that long wick. Good job, Catherine. Yeah, you're getting very close to that 145. Play it nice and tight, though, Catherine. Play it nice and tight there on Apple because we could still push to 145. We could still push to 145 there. So play it nice and tight. I want to see the SPY flush today below the 200 SMA, guys. I want to see the SPY flush. I think we get a bounce coming on out. I think we get a bounce here on the market coming on up. We definitely got that price action that suggests a bit of a bounce here, but that doesn't mean we're playing calls. That means that, hey, you're selling for some profits on those put contracts. You made over $1 on the SPY, right? I mean, not really. You didn't make $1, did you? No, close. About 75 cents, but still. You see the price action suggests we're going to get a bit of a bounce. So go ahead and lock in some profits while you have them. We can look for a re-entry on the next lower high if we get a lower high formation.